hello. Sorry, my mic was muted. Yeah, it's cold out. It's now winter, so this is like a winter kind of coat. It's got like a fur inside, and it's got a blue outside, and that's how you can tell it's a winter coat. I hope you all are doing well today. Let's jump into it. Here we are, FL Studio, Breakfast of Champions. Let's move Aiden down, even though he said he wouldn't be here, and he's clearly here. But we'll move him down anyway. Okay. Who do we got first? Who do we got up first? Who do we have up first? I believe is the proper terminology. Handed. So this track is dope. The vocals are like too mangled, I think. The vocals are probably the thing that's holding it back the most. Let me put this on vibrate. Yeah, when they first came in, I can't. They're like too affected, you know. They're too. They're just too much. They're too alter boyed, you know? They're too altered. I feel like the vocals, if you want to have those formant shifts and stuff like that, I think that would be cool, but I think it should be a layer underneath the natural vocal. But the track is dope. Track sounds dope. I did find when the hi-hats came in, they were a bit loud. Not here, but just right here. I kind of found like when that hit right at that moment, that the hi-hat kind of took me back, but they sound good in this. Now, there also is quite a bit of energy kind of in... Let me pull up Ozone here real quick. There's like a lot of your synths kind of have a lot of that frequency range to them. I don't really think the sub is too loud. I think if we could understand the vocals a little bit better, if they were a bit more easier to pick out and not as like background effect kind of layer sounding, I think that would make the arrangement make more sense, because it would kind of give us sections where, okay, now we're in this section with the vocal in it, you know, like I really think that if you simplified the effects on the vocals and had them cut through a little more cleanly, it would help a lot. I see that Bleed submitted this. So is this another artist name, I wonder, for Bleed? But yeah, I think another way, like, I like how quick it gets into it. I like the arrangement in terms of like how quick you get to the good stuff. I'm a big fan of that. Um, but the rest of the track kind of just blends together a little bit much. And maybe if you had like more of a breakdown to a simpler section and had the vocals come through and be a more important part of the track in that moment, then all of a sudden, you could break up the track a little bit more and have more well-defined edges, I guess. The instrumental's super bright, super fun, and energetic, and I like it a lot. I think you've got everything you need here. I think just cleaning up the vocals and getting the arrangement, just break it up a little bit more so that we know where we're at in the track a bit better, and then you're cooking.
Free your mind. Talk to me. Speak in waves, frequencies, heartbeat, destiny.
Because I think the vocals are cool. They're just hidden a little. And that's what I think. I think it's dope. Good job. All right, why does it keep asking me that? Stop asking me that. Ice Kaya Brooks inspired thing, I don't know. I like this. I think the bass line is kind of non-existent, you know? I think the bass should play underneath the chords. That's a good observation, Kadi. I think you're right. They're both bright and optimistic and energetic, you know? But yeah, I think right now the biggest issue I'm hearing is that the bass just isn't, it's just kind of like not playing along with the rest of the track. If we just solo, I kind of just hear the kick drum. If I solo just the sub range, I'm not even really hearing any bass. So let's see what happens if we do this. What tempo are we? 128. The magic tempo. Look at that. Like, I can hear a bass in there. There is a bass, but the way that it's being played, or I'm not sure exactly what it is that's causing it, but it's not reinforcing the chord. It's not reinforcing the root note of the chord. So we're in. I don't know why, but my brain isn't working for the bass line. I wanted to add a sub bass and see what it sounded like, but oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, so Let's do it. It's G, F, D sharp. Yeah, my brain needed a second to catch up there apparently, and that's okay. So let's just see if I don't know. We'll start off just with the sustained bass. And then that's obviously not going to work, but let's sidechain it, so at least we got that going for us. So we'll bring this over. I'm not even really sure what the pattern should be necessarily, because I'm not really that great. I don't really know this this style of music, but maybe. You know, something like that, maybe. Maybe cut it into pieces like that. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Yeah, something like that. Now, obviously, I'm just kind of making this up, and it's probably not the best sounding bass or whatever that you could find, but and it changes this, the bass line changes here, but that's fine. But you can hear it if I go between my like let's listen to it without my bass, and then let's listen to it with my bass. It just adds like that bottom thickness that it's kind of missing, right? So I would figure out a bass line that is more present in the mix. Yours is kind of almost sounds like a percussive offbeat sound as opposed to like a bass line. But like melodically, it's great. It sounds good. I think you're gonna have to figure out some other thing to do. Because you're kind of you've done one thing, and you've done it the entire time, right? Do 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 do, and it's cool, it's good, but you need some other thing to play off of it. So you're gonna have to come up with a counter melody or like an alternate chord progression, or stick on the tonic and do some sound design stuff. What you have here is cool, but you need something else. Yeah, the lead gets a bit drawn out. Yeah, it's relying on the same kind of melody for too long, and we need yeah. YouTube through Twitch. Well, they can see my my chat in the video itself. So, all right, that's what I think. I think you're off to a good start, but keep going. All right, let's check out Pawn with the incredible headroom. Let's boom. Instant mastering, $50, please. At this point, we're kind of we're drawing that out too far. Not enough has changed. Like maybe a little bit of a shaker comes in, or some sort of percussive thing, something to pick up the pace a little.
Tell me when
So, a couple things. The main kind of like sawtooth sound is maybe a little too just basic sawtooth, you know. It's not, it doesn't have a whole lot of character to it. It just kind of sounds like a sawtooth. This part sounds cool when you get here. But I think generally speaking, there's not quite enough layers. There's not enough like dimension to this yet. So there's like a kick drum, an offbeat bass, and the sawtooth. I think that's basically what we have. Kick, offbeat bass, sawtooth, and then the vocals come in. You know, like maybe some top drums could come in. What's the tempo? I'm sure I can figure it out pretty easy. 130? 130. Okay. So let's just see what it sounds like if I just like chuck some random loops on top of it. Oops. Why is it not just putting it to the tempo? Oh, it's 174? Oh my God, I was looking at the wrong line. I was gonna say that feels faster, but anyway. Like even that, like those aren't necessarily the best sounds to use, but it sounds more exciting and like there's more stuff happening, right? Especially if you came in with... You know what I mean? Like just more stuff. And most of the time, for me, I add too much stuff. So you don't want to overproduce it. You don't want to put so many layers that it's just a big mess and we can't really hear any individual layer. But I think as it stands right now, you don't quite have enough stuff in here. It's a bit too stripped back and not embellished enough. But it's a good idea so far. So let's keep going. Now, when it gets to the drop, I probably would pull the vocals out. And the no. So you've got kind of like a sound design squelchy bass thing, like Dirty Hippies in the Woods kind of sound, and that's cool. I like that. The eighth note, da 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 da, that's continued over. Don't tell me when to stop, 'cause I like it when the bass drops. I don't find that we really went anywhere in terms of energy. You know what I mean? Like if you think about the elements that we have leading up to, we have the sawtooth, the bass, the kick, the snare, the vocals, right? And then we build up, and then we have the same elements, except now we also have a squelchy bass. So you didn't really deliver on that drop section. I think you gotta strip some stuff out and try. It's kind of drum and bass, but it's also kind of like not drum and bass. I'm not familiar. I'm not super familiar with this style, so I don't have any real solid ideas. But the way that your drop is happening right now, it just wasn't enough of a step up in energy or like excitement. It just kind of feels too much like a continuation of the build. It almost feels like you built up to maybe another build. And there's some definite bass problems especially right here, it sounds like you have like this like rising sub bass effect sound. And if you don't already, if you're not familiar with sub bass separation, this is an important thing for bass music. You should only have one bass contributing to the fundamental, meaning the very lowest note that you're playing. And I think you have dun 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 dun. You have dun 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 dun, and then you have the Reese, and then you also have what you have something in there too. But because you have like 3 bass sounds all happening at the same time, the bottom end just does this blah 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 blah. So you have to I would check out my video on sub bass separation on my YouTube page. It explains this in much better detail, but it's going to help you simplify and only have one bottom end supplying the foundation to the track. That doesn't mean you can't have numerous bass sounds. You just end up stripping that lowest frequency out of the bass sound and you replace it with the solid sub bass. And that way you always know you have a solid bottom end and you can build all your character mid distorted Reese basses and stuff on top of that. But that's still not gonna it's still not gonna fix the fact that your drop, it was just kind of a continuation of the build. So you gotta think of like, what am I building up to? And I'm sure you have thought of that, and I'm sure that, you know, that's probably what you're struggling with. Bass drops. You working on a horse related track or a normal track? What? I'm not working on any track. I'm listening to other people's tracks, but I still don't understand that question. Let's keep going. Tell me when to stop, 'cause I like it when the bass drops. We can get real low, move your way to... Oh, cool. Well, it was dope, dude. Thank you for sending. Okay, so another thing is the bass, the note you're playing on that bass. Let's have a little look here. You're I think you're playing it an octave up. Yeah, like that to me, that sounds like a better octave to play that in, right? In fact, if I go like this, let's just try this. Let's take your track and we'll send it to that's funny, Bleed. Why can't I figure out? Oh God, I'm so rusty. Let's send you to a track. We're gonna strip out all of your bottom end. And then let's now put in a pattern. What was it? Is it F sharp? I think it was F sharp. Yeah. And I'm just gonna wing something real quick and dirty here. But I'm gonna let's also get that side chain. Side chain the sub. The title of the stream is what a throwback. Oh my God. I sample My Little Ponies once as a joke and okay. So let's keep going. So oh, okay, you're going up one note. So we go. Okay, now let me put in a kick because I stripped out the bottom end of your whole track, so I got to replace the kick with something that has some oomph to it. What would be a good kick? Wicked kick. Wicked trap kicks? Nope. F sharp. Sure, why not? So like, I'm not doing any sound design or any writing or anything to make the track better that way, but you can already hear that like the track has more like bottom end foundation that you can then build on with your sound design and your production. It's a better place to start having that nice deep sub bass. If we go back and forth, so like we go here. You hear how your bottom end is kind of not well defined. And then if we go here. Yeah. So I would look up, I would watch my video on sub bass separation. That should give you some ideas. And then the other thing regarding like the vocals just kind of go the whole time. We don't ever get a break from them. Again, not quite enough elements. So if I go back here and build on what you have, let's do this. And I just go and grab some random drum and bass loops to put on top. Sure. Okay. Don't tell me when to stop, 'cause I like it when the bass drops. Bass, 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 bass. Don't tell me when to stop, 'cause I like it when the bass drops. Bass, 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 bass. Oopsies. Replaced the wrong clip. Don't tell me when to stop, 'cause I like bass, 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 bass. This is just me throwing in random drum loops. Anyway, I'm not trying to make or break your track here. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. Like if I were to boil down my feedback, it would be figure out your sub bass. You're playing your bass an octave too up, I believe, an octave too far up. You're using the vocals kind of just the entire time. We never really get a break, so give us a break from that, and then embellish, add more stuff, add drums, add top drums, do little drum fills here and there. You know, just build on it. I think that's the best feedback I can give you on this right now, because I am not exactly great at making drum and bass either. In fact, I don't even know what I'm really great at making anymore, but it's not drum and bass. Let's just check out the last bit in case there's something new. Here's a good example. If you hear when that other bass comes in. Here, when that bass comes in, it's playing like a different note, and we just get like a rumbly bottom end, and you don't want that. So again, check out my video. I think it'll help you quite a bit. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for sending. Chord, Wake Up. Did we hear Wake Up before? Yeah, this is cool. The kick drum. If you listen to just the bottom end, all we're hearing is just the kick drum down there. I feel like today's theme is like sub bass. 'Cause again, if I go and I just play like, okay, so we're in G. If I just play that G, if I just hold that G while the track is playing. Like, all of a sudden the track feels a bit more complete, like it has some bottom end, and I was just playing random notes. It sounds like it should maybe do G, A sharp, F. I like the elements that are here, but it needs a thicker bass line, thicker bottom end. And to answer your question, Pawn, I don't you didn't over limit it, but your ceiling was too low. So like you limited it, and it didn't sound like you're hitting the limiter too hard or anything like that, but you just have like a bunch of headroom, like a lot. So if you're, I don't know what limiter you're using, but like in Ozone, your setting that you would have done wrong was you would have brought your threshold down, but your ceiling would have been like here or something like that. So yeah, that's to answer your question. So yeah, this is very chord. I like it. Get the bass line thicker, and maybe the kick drum, it sounds kind of low. I don't know if the low I feel like having a bit more like attack on the kick would be better. I don't know how to use loud max, but I'm sure there's something called like makeup gain or ceiling or something that, or maybe it's called headroom. That's basically what it's doing. You're limiting the whole thing, and then you're saying don't ever go above this amount, and it adjusts the gain up or down based on that. Okay, that's what I think, Cord. Thank you for sending. Let's move on to double dart. Double dart triple. Wow. Okay, let me make sure I didn't just slam. I would have. Okay, so I like the intro. It's cinematic. It's dramatic. It's cool. I did find myself struggling a little to follow along. Isn't it the same as if you use a limiter and then adjust the it would be the same as if you limited it to 0 and then use the post gain to pull it down. Not the same as using the pre-gain, but yeah, if you use the post gain to pull it down after the limiting, that would be giving yourself 6 dB of headroom. I usually, when I limit stuff, I will give myself 0.01 just so that it doesn't go right to 0. It goes right to 0, minus 0.1 to just in case there's some funky stuff that happens depending on how it's encoded. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to -6, you're just basically you're just telling the listener, turn your volume up. Yeah, so anyway. Okay, so this one, maybe just having like a quarter note, like hi-hat or something at like halfway through this build so that we're like, okay, there's the downbeat. Cause it's kind of tricky, and it's tricky in a cool way. Like it's kind of cool. It's unpredictable in kind of a cool way, but at the same time, I'd like to be able to follow along. So give me some little tss, 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 so I can nod my head easier while you're doing your offbeat things. And then when it gets to, I'd probably not continue the piano thing. I wouldn't just roll that right into the drop. I'd probably like, I'd pull it out. I'd take it out. I'd simplify, focus more on like the dirty beat. And then you can bring it back in as like a pickup halfway through or somewhere. And like the strings too. I feel like, again, this is one of those situations where you built up to the drop, and then most, if not all, of the elements that were in the build are just right into the drop, and that makes the drop feel less impactful. It feels like less of a moment because it's just like, oh, now we have the build up, but with a drum beat. So pull a bunch of stuff out. Pull as much stuff out as you can without it sounding empty. And then that's more of a contrast. You're building up with piano and strings and cinematic stuff, and now we have a trap beat going, and you pull all that stuff out. Now it's more about the trap beat. And then halfway through your drop, you can start to bring in some of those elements as pickups to pick up the pace, to remind us that we're still the same song, right? But I think that that's going to go a long way, just taking out the piano and string at the start of the drop. That when you went up an octave with all the reverb and stuff, it kind of just became a bit of a mess. The the arpeggiated thing. Yeah, like once you get into a bunch of reverb and you're up in that kind of danger frequency range, I think it's kind of a little overcooked. And again, we have strings right from those strings right from the start, all the way into the build up, all the way into the drop, and now it's continuing through the breakdown. I feel like we got to get rid of some of these elements during certain parts of the track. Again, like this drop is being diluted by the fact that a lot of the elements are still just carrying through. I mean, I like the trap beat and I like the cinematic stuff, but there's just too much happening all at the same time during the drops. So yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a good start, and I think your delete button is going to be your best friend for making this hit harder. Okay, Don't Look Down, yes sir. This is the Cloudy Parallels and Pharaoh and Introspect.
Staring at the ocean waves, we wonder where we'll go someday. We can dream that we're far away. I will find you wherever we go. Yeah. Tidal waves surround me. Take my hand while I sink. Raise me up from the bottom of the ocean, from the ocean, and close your eyes. We surrender to the waterfall. Just don't look down. Yeah.
So, okay, let's go back to the start for a sec.
And close your eyes. We slip away our tidals.
I take the pluck thing out at this moment.
Close your eyes. We slip.
Dum, 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 dum. I take that out because we had it all the way for here. We had it at the start. We had it in this like verse section, and it's continuing through. You could take it out in this section and then bring it back here.
Yeah, we are alive.
But that would just again, I mean, there's a couple themes I think, and one of them is that you want to give each section of your track, you don't want it to feel like it's unrelated to the rest of the track, but you do want to give each section its own kind of identifiable characteristic. And when you carry elements, too many elements from one section to another, then all of a sudden it blurs the lines between what was the verse and what's the pre-chorus. Like it makes the pre-chorus feel like it's part of the verse, and it shouldn't feel like that, I don't think. I think it should feel like boom, and then it's like it's an intimate, little intimate moment where you're delivering some lyrical content and getting us ready for the big chorus. And that should be in itself a big moment. You should get to that. It should be like, wow, okay, yes, this is the part where I'm like getting ready to rock out. And it's subtle, but if you have a blum 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 blum, if you have that going the whole time, then that just kind of smudges that impact, or it smudges the line, the discerning line when it goes to the build up. So yeah, anyway, blah 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 blah. I'm beating off a dead horse.
Yeah, we are alive. Look down.
I still think I think this is much better than past submissions in terms of your wall of sound. But I still think that it's kind of pushing, like those main synths are still kind of hitting hard, a little too hard. You can really tell it on this offbeat one right here. It's like that main kind of big super saw synth is like kind of quite a bit louder than the rest of the track. So I would experiment by just like turn it down too far. See what it sounds like, like just and live with it for it's going to maybe feel a little weird cuz you're so used to it, right? But just turn it down like 6 dB and see what that sounds like, and don't just immediately dismiss it if it feels weak or quiet or whatever. Just like listen to it a few times, and maybe it doesn't need to come down 6 dB. Maybe it doesn't need to come down at all, but in my opinion, it's driving the amplitude of the track more than like the drums and the bass. Like it's quite a bit higher than all of the other elements. The vocals do cut through quite well though, considering. Because you can really see, like, you can visually see in the waveform when that synth is playing and when it's not playing, right? And that's kind of I'm not going to say that that's a rule of thumb or something. You should never be able to tell what element is what by looking at the waveform. But when one element is really driving the shape of the waveform, it should cause you to maybe take a step back and question whether it's maybe a bit too loud. And I think it is. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Floating on the open sea. I know you.
Oh, and the drop, I don't know if you're planning on doing something different, but to me it just feels like a straight up copy and paste. With the exception of, I think you like changed like the octave of one of the vocal chops or something like that. But the drop, I don't mind the length of the drop, but to me, it doesn't contain enough new information in the second half to justify itself.
Floating on the open sea. I know you will wait for me. And there's so many things to see. I could tell you, but I'd rather show. Tidal waves consume me. Take my hand while we sing. Raise me up from the bottom of the ocean. The ocean.
I would even maybe see if there's a slight variation on the chord progression that you could do here. Because I think we do the same chord progression the whole time. And it's not that that can't work, but it might be worth just an experimentation, you know? Just to see if there's some other way to like give us like this different angle and then come back to the familiar chord progression. It might be worth a little play around.
Yeah, we are alive. If we can run, we gotta make it right. Just don't look down, don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look down, don't look down. Don't look down. Keep your eyes on me. Don't look down. Don't look down, don't look. We are alive. Don't look down. Close your eyes.
Yeah, I think there could be a cool, slightly different chord progression at some point. It would make that chord progression hit so much harder if there was some alternate counter chord progression, like a counter melody sort of thing. But it's really good. It's a great track, and I think those things that I suggested might get you somewhere. Oh, that's cool. Do we have the arpeggiator at any other section?
Floating on the open sea. I know you will wait for my tidal wave.
I don't think so. I think maybe you could take out the jump, pluck thing and maybe replace it with the arpeggiator in the pre-chorus instead. And then that, if you just use the arpeggiator in the pre-chorus, now the pre-chorus has an arpeggiator. You know what I mean? Should be every 16 bars. Yeah, it could be a little starty stoppy, like Safaro said. I agree with that. Maybe use the little stops and starts a little more sparingly. But overall, it's a great start, dude. Keep going. All right, Ne'er Do Well. I bet this is going to be creepy sounding. Proper signature sorrow. Here we go.
Why are you here? Lingering in shadows, sulking in sorrow like it's where you belong. But I'm not here to tell you it's wrong. No, I'm here to tell you, never change.
Ne'er do well.
I wear my grief like a crown of thorns. Each scar a story, a map of pain etched into my skin, not a weakness. It's mine, a masterpiece drawn on the canvas of time. I won't erase, I won't disguise. This is my truth, and I'll let it shine. I wear my grief like a crown of thorns. Each scar a story, a map of pain etched into my skin, not a weakness. It's mine, a masterpiece drawn on the canvas of time. I won't erase, I won't disguise. This is my truth, and I'll let it shine, and I'll let it shine. a masterpiece.
Okay, so let's stop it here for a sec. I do agree again with Safaro that I do find it quite atonal as well. It's kind of difficult to determine what notes are being played. That part's maybe not so bad. Like the kind of the additive synth sound, the dun 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 dun. I can hear it, but it's not super clear what the chords are or something. It's I don't even know how you would fix it. Maybe if your bass layer had a bit more like harmonics to it so that we could hear the bass line in terms of like what note as opposed to because it's really deep, right? So we're feeling the bass line, but it's hard to determine if you play like way down low. I'll play two different notes, right? Like no, that's not low enough. Let's do like those C and C sharp aren't very far away from each other when you're down low. As opposed to, up here. They're very discernible, but down low, they're not. But what you can do is if you played, and I'm not saying you should play 2 octaves up on your bass, but if you add harmonics to your bass line or add another bass that's playing the same thing as the sub bass but has more harmonics to it, that might make it a little clearer what note you're playing. And then I do agree that the vocals are a little hard to understand. I don't necessarily I don't think they have to be super clear just because of the style is so kind of abstract and kind of experimental. But if you could get them a little clearer, that wouldn't hurt. To me, they sound kind of like they've been recorded on a phone. And you can, if you look at the spectrum analyzer.
No, I'm here to tell you, never change.
Ne'er do well.
So you can kind of see this hard cut right around maybe 16 kilohertz. That's only there when the vocals are there, and when the vocals aren't there, we don't see that line.
Sulking sorrow.
Let's find. Yeah. See, okay, we don't see that hard line. But watch when the vocals come in, and you will see it.
I wear my grief like a crown of thorns, each scar a story.
See it right there? It's hidden underneath your effects, but to me the vocals sound like they were recorded on a phone. And I don't necessarily dislike the sound of that. It kind of fits the creepy experimental vibe of the track, but I think it is part of the reason why it's hard to understand what you're saying when there's a beat there. I also think maybe at some point, I don't think you should straighten the beat out, but if you gave us more regular hi-hats or something at some point, that would really pick up the pace. It's all clunky and like a boulder rolling down a hill, and that's cool. But at some point, if you filled in some of the off time kind of clunkiness with just like a hi-hat or something, then all of a sudden that would be a great way to pick up the pace and make it feel like, okay, now it's really cooking, right?
I won't. Stop hiding from yourself. We both know you're not actually okay. It's a front. Just like everything. It's a lie. A deceitful lie. And you...
But it's creepy and it's cool. The beat is wonky and sick and good job. Okay, moving on. We're cooking through. This is going to be a short stream today. All right, Vega Mags, Euphoric. Let's have a listen.
the world, try not.
I kind of feel like that snare doesn't fit this section. This section, and probably the kick as well. I feel like this section you should really kind of embrace the kind of cinematic drum sound. Because everything is so like big and kind of epic, but then you have just kind of your typical dubstep drums, and it kind of cheapens it a little bit, I think.
Nice family life, have fun, make money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader. Once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything we call life was made up of people that were no smarter than you. Pop out, fly. You can shake off erroneous notions of life.
I like these drop sections. They're dope. I think the drums fit in that section, but I don't think they fit leading up to it. Why are some of the bass hits super loud and some aren't? Like, do you have one sub bass? Because, like, listen to this, and then listen to this. To me, the drop doesn't hit quite hard enough, and I'm trying to understand why. I don't think it's a simple matter. I think maybe. I think like your drums aren't. I don't know. I'm having a hard time because on one hand, maybe what needs to happen is these synths and wubs and bass sounds need to come down a little bit so that you can limit the whole track up harder. Because like, look at this kick drum right here. If you ignore this little clip, I mean, there's like quite a bit of headroom here, right? We go like this. So if you ignore that tiny little transient, which doesn't really matter, like look at how much headroom you have from here. So this is all kind of wasted loudness, you know? But then over here, you've got these bass sounds that kind of go right up pretty high. So I'm thinking if you maybe just send all of your bass and wubs into a bus and either turn them down or maybe clip them or limit them so that they're about the same size, then all of a sudden, if you cut everything off like around this volume, you're just going to gain this amount of volume for free. Like there's nothing bad is going to happen. You just got to chop off some of this with like, see here and here. So that's kind of one of the reasons why sometimes rendering out your track and looking at the waveform can also give you a hint as to how to push forward. I think if I were to take this and go into my limiter, you can also see it in the limiter. If you look when those big dips happen, it's not when the drums are hitting, it's when those like basses and kind of color things are happening. Like, look at this one. This one's right. This is actually a great example right here. So whatever this sound is, if you cut it down, through various methods, you could limit it, you could clip it, you could just straight up turn the gain down. If you turn that down and then you push your limiter up, it's going to be the same volume. We're going to get the exact same thing, but now all this stuff is going to come up by that amount, right? I don't know. I don't think the release on the limiters, I think it's just a mixing thing. I think if they turned off their limiter, their master limiter, it would become very obvious that that synth is just too loud. But you know what I mean? Like you don't want to turn that down because you don't want to lose power. But you're not really turning it down. You're turning it down so that you can turn the whole track back up, and now everything else goes up with it. So that's what I would do to get your drop a bit better. But even the snare, look at the snare. It's not right. It's still not as loud as those sounds. I do agree that the snare sounds louder than the kick, so maybe the kick could also come up a little bit. But even the snare itself is like, it has headroom compared to this. So I think it still checks out. Yeah, and you should always follow what sounds good versus what looks good. I don't mean to. Yeah, the track is sick. I think take out the dubstep style drums at the first and kind of just give it like that, like more epic organic vibe, and then build up, and then it'll be even more of a kind of a nice contrast when you go into the color based style drop. But I would try turning the bass and synth stuff down, and then take a look at your master limiter and see what other impact you could get out of it. Because when it dropped, it just didn't sound as powerful as I expected it to. Okay, next up, Safaro, Runners Up. That thing that came in, I would do that reverse trick. I don't know if you saw me do it, maybe last stream or the stream before, where you take that, it's like a vocal thing, but it's super bright and it's very abrupt. But you take it, you send it into a long reverb, and you record the output, and then you take that reverb tail and you reverse it and you fade it into what's there. Because right now it kind of just like, it just hits us a little too abruptly, I think. Considering how, I mean, like if you look at over here, it's like a straight line, because the rest of the track is very subdued and there's not a lot of high frequencies in it. And then all of a sudden you hit us with this like, whoa, that's bright, you know? I guess I'll just do it real quick so you see what I'm talking about. So I'll take this. Now, obviously, you're going to be able to do it better than me because I don't have just that sound. I have to do this trick on the whole master bus, but I would just do it on that. So send it through a big, long reverb. For me, I'm using FL, but there's lots of ways to do it in other ones. Let's just do now and hit record, and then... then turn the reverb off, and then reverse it, and then, you know, I mean, that wasn't even lined up, and it sounded better. Yeah, there we go. That sounds good. And you could even do other tricks, put it up an octave, put it down an octave. But now, all of a sudden, it's way less abrupt, and it's kind of nice, like it's like being introduced. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Now, in this situation, you're kind of going for an abrupt thing, right? So that might work here. Or you could build up to the little dropout. I'd probably have some drums or percussion by this point, you know, something to start like picking it up.
Go into my running zone.
Okay, so
Go into my run.
I think almost a minute in is a little. There was like absolutely no sign of this male vocal thing until this happened.
Go into my running.
It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's a little like it kind of took me back a little bit. So I would, if you're gonna use it, I'd tease it a little bit more. I'd throw go into my go, or go, something like get us used to the sound of his voice before you give us the whole thing, because it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I want some beefy bass by this point. Again, I don't really like fake outs. I prefer not fake outs. Let's see what it sounds like without it.
Go into my running zone.
What key are we in? Because that bass is very, very low. If it's in C, if it's in B, I swear to God, I'll hunt you down. All. Oh, it's in E.
Go into my running zone.
I feel like you're down an octave.
Go into my running zone.
Or maybe what it is the bass is too complex. Like the sub bass is too complex. You're hitting it a bunch of times, as opposed to just maybe just like that. And because the bass is just kind of like, it's not solid. It's just kind of like I can kind of hear it, but it's not really like providing a nice foundation.
Go into my running zone.
It's just the bass samples. Yeah, so I would get rid of the low end, high pass all of the bass stuff, and then do your own. Like just simple sub bass, because you can hear how much more beef it's got.
Go into my running zone.
You know what I mean? I think it sounds much better at me. I mean, I have a huge latency, so I can't play it on beat, but yeah, I would do sub bass separation.
Women and the money keep it going to my running zone. We the ones got the function down in the.
Honestly, I'd probably use this as the main drop.
Go into my running zone.
Like maybe I think this is the better drop to me. It's more like focused. It sounds like I don't hold on. Let me just see what it sounds like if we bring it over here.
Go into my running zone. We the ones got the function down in the.
could like maybe then build it into this or something. I'm not saying this is bad. I just like this is way cooler. This would make me lose my shit. The other one is just kind of like, okay, cool. It's a color-based drop or something. And maybe there's some personal preference in there. But to me, I'd punch a hole in the wall probably. I don't know. I've never done that, but it's making me inspired.
We the ones got the function down in
The other thing is your kick. If you brought your kick down, you could get this. Unless you know where the studs are. That's funny. Well, it's a stud punch in the wall, so the studs better know where I'm at. So if you brought your kick drum down, you could then get this whole part much louder. Because you could see like what's driving this. You can also see it here. But yeah, this part's super dope. It's cooler than the color base. What I'd maybe do is like see if you can like mix in some color base, just not like full sections. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know. Like maybe instead of using a whole color base drop, it's just something like this. I wish I knew the tempo, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like you could, yeah, make one cool drop out of both of these sections where you're still doing a nod to the color. You're still doing a nod to those like color-based things. 150, okay. That would make my life a lot easier instead of just looking visually for it. Okay. So if we come back to this drop, let's do this. After watching 69 minutes of ads. Yeah. I gotta make my living somehow. Just joking. Yeah, like that's dope. It kind of reminds me of a song I wrote in 2015 or something. But like let's and then you can kind of do some, you could do some kind of cool stuff like this. All right, let's hear that. I mean, whatever. But you get the idea. This drop is way cooler. I would base it on that. I had something else to try. Oh, yeah. I was going to... it reminds me, hold on, of... Where's that track? I wrote this track in like 2015 or 2016. This. Toe to toe. It's like, I have a bunch of tracks that aren't on Spotify because it kind of predates Spotify. I was thinking about maybe uploading them as like a classics pack or something, but
okay. Kiss your ass goodbye. Okay. Hold up when I'm passing by. Put your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye. Okay.
Oh, there's another drop. I forgot how long this song was. Yeah, well, I have a lot of tracks that you probably have never heard. What are the other ones? Killer Lady. This is another one. There's like a Bandcamp album called like 2016, Summer 2016 or something. This one has Gwen Stefani in it. Oh, dude, what was that one that was like that when a fire starts to burn? Oh, it's called Boom. The fire starts to burn. Yeah, it's called Boom, and there's like a goat. There's a goat sound in it. I mean, I didn't give a fuck then, and I don't give a fuck now. Oh, here it is. Boom. Yeah. See if I can find the.
At some point it goes.
How many unreleased songs? Hundreds? Like probably close to 1,000?
At some point it goes.
Yeah. So that was a goat and porn samples all in the same track. What about Dizzy? That was like, I think that was the first song I ever made under the Fowler name. Yeah, this was my first ever track. This is my first ever track under this name. I think those are Hadouken samples, like from Street Fighter. Or Hadouken? Yeah, Street Wow, what a trip down memory lane that was. Thank you for accompanying me. I'm gonna play one other thing. My old band. Which would be a good one? Maybe Corruptible? Oh, wait. Yeah, those are the days. That was my girlfriend at the time, and we had a band. This one was, I made this one entirely out of hardware synth. Like all my old Casios and shit. This whole song was made out of that. Like, I made it a point to make it out of just hardware.
Nation
Yeah, anyway, those are old. What was that? 2013? Oh, I guess I'm opening Sonar now. That's actually fitting because that's what I produced all this stuff on was Sonar back in the day. That was an accident. Wait, okay. I know I'm just like going down nostalgia path here, but I just want to show you this one chorus because it's the most clever chorus. The track is called I'm Stalking You, and listen to the lyrics. Wait.
To be free.
Isn't that sick? That was like the coolest chorus that she ever came up with, I think. Dope. She's a great songwriter. Okay, anyway, back to reality. I have hundreds of tracks. I've been doing this for probably too long at this point. Anyway, Safaro, I hope that helps. You've got a dope track. The second drop is way better. The end. Let's keep going and listen to your music. Although I'm open to mix suggestions on tracks that I've made fucking 15, probably like almost 15 years ago. Like 12 years ago. Anyway, let's keep going. Vocal house song thing. This part's dope, but again, we're lacking kind of like a solid sub bass. You also have like a lot of, I feel like I have the same feedback because I feel like I'm going to give you the same feedback that I've given 7 times already just today. There's not, the sub bass is not super solid. It kind of comes and goes. Some notes are loud, some notes are not loud. So I'd figure that out. But also there's like a lot of elements at the start of the drop. There's like a bunch of like in the background and stuff. And that stuff to me is like halfway through the drop, bring that stuff in to pick it up. But drop like, and maybe, I don't know, is this just a personal taste thing? I don't know if it is or not, but like when it drops, yours is last. Yours is next and last, Aiden. Oh no, I still have Hayden. I have Aiden and Hayden. Anyway, when it drops, I just want it. I want it to be simpler. And then I want the complexity to come in with time and build up the complexity. But I want it to be dun 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 bam bam dun 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 bam bam. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's mostly the thing in the background. That it's like a formanty kind of 16th note shuffly thing. Yeah, like you could bring in that, you could bring that thing in with this new synth that comes in because they kind of go together, right? They could be a team, not opposing. They could be a team of elements that come in at the same time. But I think the biggest thing right now that's holding this drop back to have the power that it should have is the sub bass is just there occasionally, you know, like a bad father. Yeah, I mean, like, the groove is great. It's got me grooving for sure. But if the bass was just a little more solid, I think that would be much better. Like, even take right here for... Okay, we have a sub bass going duh, but then this, there's not much sub bass. This right here, like, let me do this. And do this and do that. So this has lots of sub bass, but this hit right here and this hit right here don't have a bunch of sub bass. Listen to it. Specifically, hit, hit, hit. See, like the sub kind of is there, but not there all the time. It's there when it's convenient for it, but when you need it, it's not there. I don't know. I have a great father, so I don't know what it's like, but anyway. Yeah, it's like... I don't know if it's a side chaining thing maybe, or if you have more than one bass that's phasing itself out every once in a while, but I'd investigate. Simplify the first half of the drop, and get your sub bass right. And then it's good. Cool. All right. Aiden Dodge, Melancholy. This, the pacing is too slow. There's not enough stuff happening leading up to this. The snare, I think, is a little soft. Like, if you listen to the kick and the snare and compare... The piano is kind of not the best sounding, and I kind of get what you're going for. It kind of sounds like an 80s sort of ballad sort of thing. But when you get to it didn't bother me until we got to the section when it was just kind of by itself, and it's almost like doesn't sound like it's in tune with itself. Like when it's mixed in with all this other stuff, it kind of fades into like that 80s vibe. I think the bass is a bit loud. It's quite overbearing over top of everything else. But yeah, when it's when the piano is playing, it just kind of sounds cheesy, but not necessarily intentionally cheesy. Like it's one thing to go for like cheesy on purpose, self-aware cheesy, I would call it. But this just kind of sounds cheesy without being self-aware cheesy, specifically when the piano is just by itself. But it's a cool vibe, and I don't know, it definitely gives me like Nick's Tinder profile, like self-aware cheesy. I haven't checked in on that thing in a while. I should see if I got any matches. Yeah, I could see somebody like yearning on a fire escape in a dystopian future for an 80s film. Like that comes to mind, I guess. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool start to a cool 80s inspired ballad. The end. All right, last one of the day. She's a little small. Let's just go ahead and give it the old normalized treatment here. Hayden Wells Project. Here we go. Okay, so this I'm gonna be getting a kid from school in that chat. Okay, cool. I think you simplified the chords since the last time you sent this in, so good job on that. I think the chords have been simplified. Yeah, I think you also simplified the rhythm, which is good. I think I was trying to find it from, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember when you sent this in last. Let's see if I can find it. What was it called? It was called something different back then, I think. One sec. Crippum? No. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I can't find it. Whatever. What I would say now is I still think the chord progression is a little spicy at moments. The clap is very quiet. The kick is not the greatest kick in the world. It doesn't really have any low end to it. In fact, hold on a sec. Let me load up Ozone. We'll go here. Yeah, the kick is a bit flabby, I would call it. Flabby, I think. Like it's just like it's a little like knock. Like it doesn't have any real power. And this doesn't need a big hardstyle kick or anything for this style. But it sounds much better than the last time you sent it in. I will say that you're going in the right direction. When this synth comes in though, oh, I gotta change this. I don't think that synth is doing you any favors. The long attack on the filter just kind of makes it feel like it's late to every note that it's playing or something. Okay, well, this kick came to life. I guess maybe this kick is kind of in that awkward no man's land of sounds like it's trying to be thick, but it isn't, as opposed to not trying that, like it's not sounding like it's trying to be thick and it isn't. I thought that was the full kick. So I don't really know what to tell you on that one. But when it came in here, it's okay. Now I've got a kick drum that hits a bit harder. I would look into side chaining. I don't think there is any side chaining on this. I don't think there is. I think there should be. There's still some moments where I'm questioning the chord choice. You know, that again gives me like omnichord vibes, like the Suzuki omnichord, where you can just like hit like the sustained ninth chord or whatever. There's like a bunch of like fancy church chords that you can play on it. But that can be a musical taste thing. I think you've done a good job in normalizing it a little bit and having it a little bit more predictable in terms of where the chords are going. I think the next thing you should work on is figuring out how to sidechain. And I don't think this track needs Benny Benassi levels of sidechain, but I do think that if you sidechained the chords and the bass to the kick drum, and then maybe brought the kick drum down a little and then brought the clap or snare up, because I'm really just hearing, in terms of drums, I'm mostly just hearing kick drum. I'm not really hearing like any snare or clap. It's like just a tiny little like it's not really there. So I would probably try to sidechain and then get your kick and clap to work a little bit more as peers, as opposed to like the kick is the master and the clap is just somewhere underneath it. Okay, that's what I got. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for hanging out. I love you all. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. That's it. Goodbye. The mic is still on.